Wadi Awo Bashimi Awashab, Bashir Raka Kudas, Rakadam, peace and blessings to the Ufalet, 144 and the rest of the 1/3. Shalom, shalom, shalom. You know what I'm saying? Peace and blessings to all my apostles, bishops, and elders, Ruel and GMS, and all the Malakim. Shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings to all the Akhwafia and the speckled birds. Shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings. Yep, you going down, devil.
Matthew 24, right? You might want to write this down if you're new. Have some biblical pastors and things like that are also calling out the fact that, you know, the wearers of the smaller hats are also Edom Rome. So, you know, the Spider-Man meme, they're all pointing fingers at one another. Well, let's go to the scriptures, man. All right, let's go to the records. This is Matthew 24, right? You might want to write this down if you're new. Okay, this is how you're going to absolutely destroy the false lying Christianism doctrine. This is one way to do it. This is Matthew 24 and 6. And it reads, "And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in the earth in divers places." All that is taking place right now as I speak. "All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all the nations for my name's sake." That is on the verge of happening. They're going to come after the men of the Lord and the believers, and just Jake in general. Okay? Even some of these fake Christians are going to get caught up in that sweep. "And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." All right, because there's going to be no food, no water, no supplies. It's going to get very violent out here in this time period. "But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved." That kills the whole false rapture doctrine. All right, you have to endure until the end. That's when you get saved, right at the last moment when you're about to die. All right, no one gets away from the wrath of the Lord or the punishment. That's your test. Are you going to cave in and take the MOTB? Because that's what they're going to try to govern and rule with. They're going to come with that. "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in the world for a witness unto all nations, and then the end shall come." So this gospel, that the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans are the Israelites, that the Edomites are the wearers of the smaller hats and are the rulers of the world, and the Lord is coming to establish the kingdom of heaven here on earth. That wasn't taught within Christianism. You just read an example of mainstream, theologians, etc. They're all Edomites. They teach Edomite-friendly doctrine. All right, try to remove themselves from damnation. "When ye therefore shall see that the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand." All right, so we'll stop right there and just go right to the next one. My next precept is Psalms 90, and there's so many more I could get, but I don't want to make this too long, but I want to make it thorough. All right, this is Psalms 98 and 1. And it reads, "O sing unto Yahweh a new song, for he have done marvelous things. His right hand and his holy arm have gotten him the victory." So the victory is Yahweh Shai's, man. He's gotten the victory for Yahweh. And what does he do? He's coming to put the king. He's going to come to put the judges of the earth under his boot, and they're going to become his footstool. Okay, that's matter of fact, that whole chapter, you can read that like it's a prayer, because that's really what the songs are really songs, and David wrote most of them. All right, So that Psalms 98, it's only 9 verses. That's like a prayer, man. You could actually, pray. You read that as a prayer, man. Okay. But here, let's go to the next one now. One of my favorites, because I preach this often, and this scripture backs it up 100%. This is Psalms 11 and 15. And it reads, start at 14. And the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So this happens this is a third World War thing. This is why they feared and didn't want to have World War III. All right. The first woe was World War I. The second woe, World War II. And now we're at the gates. We're in the gates already. All right. Of World War III. Revelation 11:15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there was a great voice in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world, America, Britain, Russia, China, India, Australia, etc. The seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of the world are become the kingdom of our Lord and his Hamashiach, and he shall reign forever, even forever, because the kingdom of heaven is going to be here on earth. Okay, that's why he's taking the kingdoms of the world. Why would he take the kingdom of the world if we all going to float in the clouds? You dumbass people. That's that Christian madness that you people refuse to let go of, which is not biblical and makes absolutely no sense. Psalms 144. Gotta love that number. And 9. And it reads, I will sing a new song unto thee, O power, upon the psaltery and the instrument of 10 strings will I praise thee. Okay, why? Because verse 8, he's going to get rid of these, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is the right hand of falsehood. Verse 11, rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is the right hand of falsehood. These people have lied about everything. So he's preparing his servants to fight. Psalms 144 and 1. Blessed be Yahweh my strength, with teaching my hands to war and my fingers to fight. Who are going to fight against the Edomites? Hell, they just took that Jake. That Jake went out there with his dumb ass on that island. His parents should have known better with all them Edomites, and his spirit left his body. They found his body 2 days later. And it turns out it might be over because, Edomite women are choosing Jake. And then you go out there, especially when you're going out there with these rich kids whose parents are law enforcement and parents are lawyers and doctors and judges. Okay? They're going to get their children off. You're just going to get unalived. Or if you defend yourself, you're going to get prison sentence. Because, with an Edomite, you don't have a right to defend yourself. You have a right to be a victim. Okay? And all these precepts are solid precepts telling you of the end of days and what happens when the Lord returns. It ain't said nothing about no rapture and you get snatched up and then there's 7 years of that's all a man-made doctrine. There's no scriptures to substantiate that. Amos 9 and 11. And it reads, and in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, to close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. That's why he's teaching your hands to fight. You're going to get that download. 1 Corinthians 15. When the mortal must put off, becomes immortal. And only people that are going to get that, all right? I've been reading that, Invincible graphic novel about the Viltrumites. Only the Israelites are going to get those immortal bodies and that power. All right? And then the Lord's going to unleash us on Edom and the other nations, because they're not going to be willing to give up their lands, their gold, all the stuff they stole from us. Everything they collected is ours. Psalms 2 and 8. As a matter of fact, that one just popped into my head. Let's go there. Psalms 2 and 8 real quick. Ask of me, and I will give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. All the heathen belong to us, and everything that they own. The gold, the silver, the best of their women, their animals, the best of their land. All the first fruits of them go to us. They get to keep what's left. And Edom have lived his life this way. But all of a sudden, he calls it hate when we read it out of the Bible, that it's going to be reversed onto us. All of a sudden, it's hate speech. All right, when this is exactly how he was living. Adam said in the beginning of the video, when America and Israel lost this war. That's the spoils of war, which proved what Colonel McGregor said yesterday was true. America cannot win a ground war. They can't win the war abroad. They can't. And that's been proven over and over again in these last 15, 20 years. They do a lot of damage, but they can't win a war. But they can win the war on their own people here at home. And you best believe that's why they built up all these centers and they built up ICE. And yeah, they know it's coming. It's going to go down. Isaiah 42 and 10. And it reads, sing unto Yahweh a new song and praise from the end of the earth, ye that go down to the sea, and all that are therein, and the isles and inhabitants thereof. So all these, why? Because the Israelites are scattered among the four corners of the earth, among all people. And they need to hear this truth. Because you got people that don't that look like us, that listen to us and believe. People that don't look like us, who are already labeled among the elect. Then the Lord is going to go gather them up and then, of course, restore their melanin and their original look back to them upon the change. All right, because you can't go up on a chariot with these corruptible bodies that we have now. Go read, 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, about verse 41 through like 50, 51. It's going to break all that down to you. All right, we can't get on the chariots of Israel in these physical bodies that we're in now. On the way up, you're going to get changed. Now, Esau gives you examples of that throughout his movies, of people getting beamed up. Beam me up, Scotty. Revelation 14. It's our next one. I'm going to start at 1. And it reads, and I looked, and lo, the Lamb stood on the Mount Zion. He didn't stand on anywhere else. And with him 144,000 having his Father's name written in their foreheads. Right? That's that 144,000 that's spoken of in Revelation, the 7th chapter, in Wisdom of Solomon, the 13th chapter. Or is it 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter? Salakia. Matter of fact, let me just look. Let me just look before I continue. Yeah, 2nd Ezra 13th chapter is where you find that, the precept to Revelation 7 and 9. Or 7, when it talks about the 144,000 and then the rest of the scattered elect. Right, that's where the record, the biblical record of that is. The precept. Something that they don't do in the churches. And hence the reason why, the Bible Destruction Group existed and tried to separate the Apocrypha from the rest of the Bible, as if it's, look, they're Bibles that actually have precepts in the Apocrypha to the rest of the Bible and vice versa. You can't get around this, man. Okay? They tried, though. Because these same theologians that just lied, you saw the lie when they said, America's not Babylon. The theologians don't collectively. And then they turn around. Oh yeah. Well, see, you just got to know how to talk. AI is not, credible to a certain extent, and AI is programmed to defend Christianism and also the wearers of the smaller hats. but there's going to be flaws in there because deep down, the wearers of the smaller hats are actually against Christianity. So you just got to know what, where the chinks in the armor and ask the right questions, and they reveal themselves. Okay? Because the wearer of the smaller hats is always going to try to have the upper hand over Christianism. All right? And it's as simple as that. So back to Revelation, the 14th chapter. I read verse 1. This is verse 2. And I heard a voice from heaven as a voice from many waters and a voice of a great thunder. And I heard a voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song. This is the point. And before the throne and before the four beasts, and the four main beasts in the kingdoms, and this last beast is the extension of Rome reborn. All right. It says, and the elders, and no man could learn the song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. So that's why it's a small amount of people that have been telling you these things on the internet, all right, for the last 20 years. All right. Great Millstone went on to the YouTube on the internet in 2007. And there were a few other Israelite groups, former One Westers, that were already on the YouTube. All right. I was watching before I gravitated, before the Lord brought me to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I was learning from Priest Awan from Shield of Wisdom. All right. And to his credit, his doctrine, from what I heard from him, okay. I mean, he never really taught about the MOTB. But outside of that, everything else was in line with what the apostles and the elders were teaching. Okay? So this information has basically, and this song is the reason why the prophecies went forth and started moving. The Lord started moving because the prophecy of the new song being sung was being fulfilled on earth. Do you understand the gravity of that? The prophecy of the new song being sung on earth was moving. And so now the end and all the things that deal with the matter of the end are actually in play now. Okay? So it was that 144,000. Verse 4. These are they which were not defiled with women, meaning false doctrines, not actual women. For they are virgins. They are they which follow the Lamb whatsoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits, proving that for Ephesians, the first chapter, predestinated souls who are to be scattered, lost, mistreated, go through slavery and everything else over, go to the spirit world, come back every 3-4 generations and stay in that condition until the Lord came back to the earth. He sent the Holy Ghost, the Spirit first. And now the Lord is actually about to return to gather them up and establish the house of David, the tabernacle of David on earth, because the Lord is going to rule through the tabernacle of David here on earth, an earthly kingdom where everyone else will be under subjection under the saints of the Most High. Point blank, period. That is the new song. That is what the Bible is talking about. Always has been. In the hell with what you got to say, because there's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can do. This is what it is. All right. Revelation 18. This is it. Okay. Revelation 18. I'm going to start at verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye may not be partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues." All right, because we turn from the world, turn from the ways of Esau, Edom, and her not physically leave. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup she hath filled, fill unto her double. All right. So we went through the worst Holocaust, slavery, destruction the worst thing that any group of people could go through in the history of mankind. All right? You can't take an event that happened in World War II and match it up with almost a 500-year, destruction, burning, being eaten, being whipped, being denied who you are, being called black, and all the other terms that you've called the different tribes. Savages, tree niggers, beaners, spicks. Verse 7, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Oh boy, but they saying it already. Therefore shall plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. All right? And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, bewail her and lament over her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Because the Lord's going to burn Babylon, the great mystery Babylon. All right? Which Ahai tried to lie about and got caught. And we showed it to you live on camera. Showed you the evidence of that. Because all the nations of the world benefited from the transatlantic slave trade and everything that came out. And the transatlantic slave trade moved around all the Israelites, the ones who were already here in America and the refugees, those who had fled into West Africa and into different parts of Europe. They were gathered up and put on ships. And there was a reverse slave trade. The Israelites that were here in the islands and in the Americas were being shipped back to Europe, and then those in Europe and in West Africa were being brought here. A triangular slave trade. And then that destruction and that oppression lasted for 500 years. That's your true Holocaust. The worst event that ever took place in the history of mankind to a group of people. Which you had a few nations, 3, because 2 of them are really one and the same, deny that. Right? You got, 600 or 700 million people died, but then they try to make, a number of 6 million worse. All right? And then that can be contested. And then they make laws to prevent you from bringing the evidence they contest it. Come on, man. Stand and fall for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, a great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour judgment is come. So the merchants of the earth who also participated in this and took in those slaves and made money off of them and made money through this very place that did this thing, they're going to be watching it. Okay? The merchandise, here's how vocab got destroyed. Because that one guy, that I forget his name, but he said, okay, let's take, because he denounced his Israelite heritage or his One West connection, however you want to say it. But he still believes in God, believes in the scriptures, so he says. But he pointed out that, yes, there is a record of the transatlantic slave trade written in the Bible, in the New Testament. And that if God is a just God, and Christianism claims that he is, okay, and he punished the world, he punished Egypt for what they did to the Israelites, and you think that he wouldn't punish the world for taking the people and scattering them and oppressing them nonstop for 500 years? You said a just God wouldn't do that? So this is the direct precept to Deuteronomy 28:68, okay? But it says, verse 12 through 15, and here we go. The merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls and fine linen, purple silk, scarlet, and all thine wood, and manner of vessels and ivory and manner of vessels, more precious than wood and brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil. More, they were getting rich, weren't they? Fine flour, wheat, beasts, sheep, horses, chariots, slaves, and souls of men. They have to pay for what they've done. There is no way around it. It's in the New Testament. That is a part of the new song. And in Revelation 18:6, it says you're going to give unto them double. You Edomites are fucked. Completely and totally fucked.
That's right.
Excuse my French, but not really. So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal. Right? Chains are going to be the new fashion for you Edomites and you other heathens. Shalom.
That's right.
Shalom.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? Them chains gonna be looking good upon you, you dirty ass devil. Until the next one, ball.